The fact is, it just ain't so. Thank you, sir.
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Lau whiunga le whonga whetalai ai tai nane le ia maolunga le sui os whono le palemene a New Zealand. Whawhtaimu le avanoa. E whai eisa o whamatalanga i tau alumanga i le whono nei. Mr Speaker, I greet you in my mother tongue of Samoan. It is Samoan Language Week. It is the language spoken in heaven, but it is only the third most spoken language in this country and the second most spoken language in Auckland. And I know, sir, you have a connection to Samoa through your beautiful wife, and I greet you in Samoan here today. Well, sir, I rise to speak on this budget debate because it's done through the reading of the Appropriations Bill. And can I start by acknowledging the Minister, Stephen Joyce. It is his first budget, but, sir, it is a budget that carries on the fine work of our Prime Minister, Bill English. It is a budget that focuses on quality public services, sir. It is a budget that is prudent, that manages debt over the long term whilst being compassionate to those New Zealanders that need government assistance, sir. And it is a budget, sir, that has been welcomed by many, many New Zealanders across our great nation. And I know Derek Ball, the previous speaker, doesn't believe me, but I'd like to quote from just some of the external sources out there, the people actually who matter. These are the New Zealanders out there that are receiving services, that believe in this government, have faith in this government, and that are supporting us in our 9th year of government. Sir Corrandan said that incomes and help with housing supplements, housing supplements is essential, and it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Sir Scott Figgenshow of the Community Housing Aotearoa said, we congratulate the government on the proposed changes to the accommodation supplement. The government's message has been that investment in housing is an investment in good social outcomes. That's right, Mr Ball, good social outcomes. Finally, Kirk Hope of Business New Zealand said, and I quote, it's about increasing the two bottom tax thresholds, and it is a positive investment in family incomes for many. And investment in infrastructure, innovation and trade in the 2017 budget is positive. So don't believe me, Mr Ball, believe independent commentators, believe the NGO sector, and believe business interests all around this country that are in agreement that this is a positive, it is a decent budget, and it is the right thing to do, sir. Of course, we've heard tonight about the flagship policy, which is, of course, the family incomes policy. $2 billion per year to support low to middle income New Zealanders with tax cuts and an increase in the accommodation supplement. But what does this mean? What does it mean practically for New Zealanders out there? Well, we know that 1.3 million families on average will benefit on average $26 per week. So that's over $1,300 per year on average per family that benefit from these reforms. In Maunga Keke, of course, that means families, and they've been giving me feedback since the budget, they can purchase clothes for kids, they can spend the treats on, like taking their kids out for a meal, and they can save for holidays. The package also helps those facing increasing housing costs. And if you qualify for an accommodation supplement, it means for a two-person household, you can qualify for a supplement of up to $3,900 per year. And for larger households, that amount goes above $4,000 per year. $4,000 per year. Sir, that is real support for families. It gives them more choices. It means that they can spend on the things that they want to do and they want to spend on. And it means they're not being overtaxed and burdened by rising costs in the economy. It also, sir, improves their wealth, their well-being, their wealth, and the ability of New Zealanders to live the lifestyles that they choose. And as I said, look, the feedback from my constituents in Maunga Keke has been hugely positive. The number one priority for them is jobs. Jobs so that they can look after their families, they can clothe and feed their children, so that they can go about their lives. And, you know, Mr Ball seems to ignore this feedback. I don't know which electorate he represents, but he needs to get out a bit more and start listening to people, because what they're saying is that in the last 3 years we've had over 200,000 jobs created. 200 jobs created and over 215,000 jobs that will be created in the next 4 years. So that is over 2.5 million people employed, 2.5 million people employed, and that is more than at any other time in our country's history. And Mr. Ball might ask, what about social investment? Well, I can tell you, all the social investment models, nothing beats someone getting a job. And you can go to a prison and talk to prisoners who are about to get out on parole or release. You can go to markets and talk to people. You can door knock, as I did earlier this week in Māngere, and they will tell you that a strong economy, that jobs is what they're after, and also they want rising income. So this family incomes policy is a great way to reward those hard-working, low to middle income families out there who go about their business, who by and large actually aren't interested in politics, but they just want to go about their business, live their lives in their own communities, and benefit from the fruits of a bulging economy and a great nation that we are. So the management of the economy is important, and it helps the government first to afford first-class services, and I'll talk a little bit about health and education, but it also helps the government prepare for any major shocks. And we've had Kaikoura, we've had Christchurch, natural shocks, but also external shocks from a world economy that at any time could go into recession. And in the families out there that I talked to, and I was door knocking with the Māngere candidate, Agnes Lohenny, and the feedback that we were getting from business owners in shops, from elderly folk who were at home during this time we were door knocking earlier this week, has been largely positive. The migrants that we talked to, we had migrants from India who run businesses, we had Croatian families, we had Samoan families, and talking to these, they understand the importance of immigration, but they also understand the importance of hard work, and those are the families that we were talking to who are particularly attracted to what this government has to offer in this budget. Of course, there's investment in our schools, and the 24 classrooms last year, welcome to come along, Mr. Ball, to the 24 classrooms that were opened at Ellerslie School, or the new learning environments that we saw opened in Sylvia Park School. Those are the sorts of things that actually make a difference to local communities. Those are the sorts of things that families want to see. They want their kids in modern learning environments able to get ahead through education. And they also know that roads are important. So State Highway 20, the east-west link that runs through my electorate of Maungakeke, those investments, $1.8 billion for the east-west link, the second biggest roading project in this country, and it's going to make a huge difference, not just to businesses in my area, but also those local communities who want to get about their lives, go to the sport on Saturday, they want to go to work on Monday to Friday, and they want to be part of a community and use quality public services. And I'm especially proud of, the Minister of Education has brought reforms, and we've had very good successive Ministers of Education, from Anne Tolley in 2008 right through Hekia Parata. Now we've got Nikki Kay, and the $386 million of operating funding over 4 years. That will make a difference to schools who are looking to invest in their children, who are looking to provide the services that their parents demand. Of course, people still enjoy the 20 hours free for preschool children, the free hours. And also, what I'm particularly proud of is the at-risk funding that is going into those kids that are at risk, that require a little bit more resource, that require a little bit more help. We were able to build on those kids, their learning outcomes. So, sir, proud of this budget. It's a budget, as has already been said, it's well supported within this House. When you know that the Green Party, who oppose almost everything that this government do, when they are voting for this budget, when New Zealand First are voting for this budget, and yet we've got Labor, sadly, over there who aren't quite following through. Sir, this is a great budget. This is a budget that will continue the fine work that's been done by this government. And, sir, I just want to wish you in this special week of Samoan language week, e Manuele Vaso, le ngana Samoa. Wish you well. Thank you very much.
Whaawhatai. Marama Davidson. A 5-minute call.
Whaawhetai mō